From Studio 3 at Buzz TV, it's The Horse's Mouth with Tom McManus.
All right, time once again for The Horse's Mouth here. Tommy Max at my bar, of course. We're talking business, sports, life, community. We talk about everything here, and everybody's welcome to have a seat. Brought to our good friends at Dasher and Terrell Hogan Law. Coach Campo is back, and our Olympian gold medalist, the best, Nancy Hogshead, is back as well. Let's say hello to the panel. Coach, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Tom.
Do you know who you're sitting next to?
Well, I know who she is. Absolutely. I've known Nancy.
Thank you. Such a comfortable place.
I've known of Nancy for many, many years.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
It's my hometown.
Yeah.
You're staying very busy, fighting for women in sports, and we absolutely love it.
Yeah.
It's an uphill battle, though, it seems. It's constant.
Yeah, you were asking earlier, like, how do you measure success?
Yeah.
In sports, it's actually kind of easy because you have these metrics of, like, how many men are participating, how many women, right? So, you know, it's a lot harder in a lot of other areas, but we are out to change the gaps. So, and the gaps between men and women right now are enormous. People kind of think like, oh, that's done. But it's $1.1 billion in college scholarships every year.
Wow, that aren't going to women.
That are not going to women, exactly.
What's the reason behind that? Like, or multiple
Because
reasons?
schools are not providing women with the same scholarship opportunities that they're giving men, or the same opportunities to compete. So if, like, it's like, you know, like one, just making up numbers, if it's 1 in 10 men, it should be 1 in 10 women.
Sure.
And so women are missing out on about a third of the opportunities that they should have, right? So it means, so Florida State, University of Miami, University of Southern Florida, you know, Florida schools are some of the worst in the whole country. Wow. Believe it or not. Yeah.
Wow. So, like, what sports are we talking about? All sports? Like, I mean, I guess women's basketball would be pretty decent depending on where you go to school. I imagine, right?
Most
women's hockey.
But that's, you know, women's. It's like 12, 15 students, right? So we're talking like, you know, Florida State needs to add, I think it's like 180 women to, right? So that would be, you know, probably like 6 teams. Yeah. Right? So 6 new teams. So so in our complaint, we said all of the sports that these schools are not offering, that their conference sponsors championships for, and all the sports that their peers compete in that they're not doing, and all the sports that the NCAA, they've got what's called emerging sports status. Wrestling and equestrian and rugby. And so we like there's tons of opportunities.
Like one school may have women's polo, another school doesn't have it at all, right? You sit there going, why don't you?
You have competitors within your normal.
Well, is it financial? I mean, is it that they feel like those sports aren't the women's sports aren't contributing enough to the
revenue,
pot?
the bottom.
So the law is that it doesn't matter what the source of the money is, whether it's ticket sales or media or donors or that a school retains the obligation for the student to make them
to have those programs available to everybody.
So they're always required to provide equality. Now, that's one of the big issues with the whole NIL deal is that if they're employees, then Title IX doesn't apply. Right? Oh. So, you know, if they go that route, but I have not met anybody at the NCAA, and I've been on committees and I go to their conferences and nobody is trying to get the athletes to be employees.
Okay, how do you fight this day in and day out, Nancy? Like, are lawsuits? You're calling the school, all of it. I mean, you just call the school and say, hey, you're behind, you need to add 180 female scholars. Like, what the heck's going on? And if you don't get going, I got somebody coming after you, kind of deal.
Yeah. So we did that when we filed those 101 complaints. And then when the women reach out to us, like, I don't do the cases because I can only do so many, and there are plenty of lawyers that do that kind of thing. So we hook them up with lawyers that aren't just going to get, like, a small win, like, oh, we'll make sure you get bleachers, right? But they don't attack the locker rooms and the quality of coaching, right?
Sure.
I mean, how lucky for somebody to have the quality of coach, right? It's very different than if you get like a research graduate assistant,
exactly.
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how it is that the athlete travels, it makes such a difference for their right? What kind of medical care that they get? Do the women get the same medical care? I mean, my new research assistant, Lexi Drum, was just saying how that how that her games are Thursdays and Sundays, and the boys are Friday and Saturday. So, she has to miss school on Wednesday, right? Like, what a difference it makes for her whole education.
But they miss parties on Friday and Saturday, though. The guys.
I really feel for her.
I'm only messing around. Right, well, you guys, I mean, the fight for women's rights in sports is hotter than ever.
Hotter than ever, right. So the Department of Education just came out with new guidelines, and they interpret, the statute says you can't discriminate based on sex.
Right.
And they changed it so that we're going to say that based on sex also includes gender identity. So if somebody identifies as a woman, which I have no problem, right? That is
Everybody's who you are. That's it.
Right. But when it comes to sports in particular, right, you have to pay attention to biology. I mean, just look at how, I was the best in the world, and look at this. I don't know any woman who looks like you. I mean, right? And even when you look at pictures of me, if you Google Nancy Hogshead muscle, there's some really good ones by famous photographers, right? But even if you put a guy's head on, right, and. It's really not that impressive.
Well, does Caitlin Clark, for example, help you in some way or no? In other words, help the overall.
That is a great question.
Overall, the whole system.
She doesn't help with the transgender issue just because it's just not right. But she is doing amazing things for viewership and kind of the whole. Women's sports overall, that people are watching it so much more. Do you know that 2 more million people watch the women's Final Four than the men's Final Four?
Listen, I'm including one of them. I watched a lot more.
Right.
And I had girls that were college. My granddaughter was a volleyball player in St. Louis. So I watched them a lot. But Caitlin just all of a sudden is
put it on the
forefront.
So one of the things they found out was remember when that the basketball player Sedona Prince did the video that said here's the men's locker room and here the weight room and here's right. So because of that, they did a whole study that looked at all the ways that the NCAA was discriminating against women. And one of the things they found is that so when the men go to the Final Four, each game they bring money into the school, as opposed to you can have huge viewership for the women, for the softball and volleyball, right? Those three. And guess what? The school doesn't get any money from the media deal. So the media deal only impacts men's basketball, right? So the women's softball in terms of viewership, huge. But so they can't go back to their school and say, look what we did for the school, right?
Other than winning a title,
they won a title, right? But they can't,
Common sense again.
The NCAA literally gave the networks those deals, and didn't the school doesn't get anything back, right? So,
that's not right.
That was one of the first things that everybody asked me is but hold on, doesn't football make money?
That's what I'm saying. The pot itself has got to be an issue.
Well, it's hard to make money when they're not getting any of the TV money.
No, that's the key.
Sense at
that's
all.
it.
Right. They essentially gave it to the guys, right? All the guys get to have those bragging rights, and the women don't.
All right. Well, listen, we got to wrap it up.
Okay.
Keep up the great work. I love when you visit the show.
So we need donors.
Okay.
So you can go on to championwomen.org.
Okay.
and we really need to be able to, like pay for our research assistants
Absolutely.
and to grow the team to be
go
able to
after
do
'em.
more of this stuff. Exactly, right. So
All
we need donors. Okay,
Thank you, babe.
thanks, Tom. I
Appreciate it.
really
Go ahead.
appreciate it.
You're the man,
Hey,
absolutely
listen,
right.
I love this. This is
doubt.
great. This is
No doubt.
great.
Yeah, I
Great
didn't really like
discussion.
to talk very much.
Yeah.
I like it.
Champion.
That was good. You're
Champion.
informative. You're informative. I'm not that informative. I just kind of talk.
Oh.
Championwomen.org.
Championwomen.org.
All right, championwomen.org to donate to such a great cause. Until next time, stay safe out there and be cool. And we'll see you right here on The Horse's Mouth. Cheers.
Darrell Hogan Law is a collection of lawyers that help people solve problems in areas of their life they're not able to solve them themselves.
We are not individuals. We are purely a team. We work together for all of our clients.
We have the resources to win your case and win it to such a degree that you're going to be very happy with the results.